setting boundaries, holidays,
Birthday parties,
anniversaries,
the workplace.
and even Sunday worship are all opportunities to spend time with friends, family, and colleagues. And within these social settings, boundaries need to be established.
Hello, I'm Linnetta.
I'm Patrick.
And together we are co-founders of
Verticalconnectionsinc.
Thank you for joining us once again. Please be sure to subscribe if you're new to this channel. Click the like button and share this message.
Also, we greatly appreciate when you leave comments, and we look forward to those in the future. This past weekend, we had the opportunity to spend some time with a dear friend, and it wasn't even one that was scheduled. Had a little mishap with our car in which it didn't want to run right, and so we were needing a ride home. Fortunately, our friend was walking by. We had an opportunity to get a ride home with her, and on that way home, she was sharing with us some of the things that were going on at her workplace and how it was affecting her. So we were talking about different things that were a strength of hers in the workplace, and through a survey, she found out that the three things that she was strongest at were:
she's responsible, she's empathetic, and consistent.
Three criteria that just invite others who are not like-minded, who are not as caring, will then possibly take advantage of and either rely on or allow the individuals to take on more responsibility than they need and not reciprocate or not fully participate. So we were thinking of making sure that we put forth a message that it is so important to set boundaries.
Yes, it can be really hard to tell someone what you need. It takes a lot of courage to stand up and say, this is why I want to be treated this way.
Most of us aren't so great at vocalizing to the people in our lives what makes us feel respected or valued. It's true that with friends, family, peers, work colleagues, it just doesn't get done. Yet you have to go and set these healthy boundaries.
Boundaries can be intimidating. It can be an intimidating term, but simply put, are expectations and needs that help us feel safe and comfortable in the relationship.
Work is the place where we spend the most time, and yet it's also the place where we have the hardest time of setting limits. Many times we fear people won't see us as a team player. Our employers have boundaries such as the time your workday begins and the number of vacation days that you get. But work boundaries need to be a two-way street.
Boundaries for your employer and boundaries for you. Setting them can help you feel happier and more fulfilled in your roles, not to mention less exhausted and overwhelmed at work.
It's often assumed that other people have the same rules for life as we do. We think they can tell our preferences and know our feelings from our body language, but no, not the people you've known for years or the people that you are working with that you may have only known for a short amount of time. They cannot read our minds, so we have to specifically and with clarity state what we need.
Communicating that works well is so good for both sides. Very essential. The short-term discomfort is worth it for a long-term ease of having a healthier boundaries set in the workplace.
So we thought we would come up with 3 steps to help you get started. Step 1.
Identify the boundaries you need to set.
There are so many different kinds. For example, you can tell a colleague the hours you are and are not available to work.
You can share that you need to leave the office promptly at 5 o'clock to pick up your children, or that you log off fully on the weekends you are off and you really need that time to recharge.
You can tell them how you prefer to communicate, that you enjoy talking by phone rather than an instant message or a text. With your boss, consider setting boundaries around how you like your feedback. For instance, I work best with clear deadlines. Can you please set 1 or 2 for those that I can follow and then maintain? So it's just important to share your preferences.
You can set boundaries on how you interact with people socially. For example, it makes me feel uncomfortable when you share gossip at my workplace, at my desk. Or, no, I'm not interested in drinks after work, but I would like to go for a walk with you or to have some coffee at some point.
You can even set some boundaries around your calendar and ask that people ask first before throwing a meeting on it, as you prefer to be aware of what your day is going to look like.
Step two, think about how and when to make the statement.
Boundaries are like classroom rules. We know it's super important that we make sure and set these up right away. We want to make them as clear as possible as well. People do it all the time with their job seeking process. For example, I have vacation planned for these dates. Will I be able to take that vacation?
If you can go into a new work environment and with people already knowing what we can and can't do, that's a fantastic way to start a new job.
If that feels like too much, during orientation can be a great time to set some boundaries. When your supervisor says that the workday ends at 6, you can just add into it that works great for you because you need to leave promptly at 6.
It is very important to take every single day of paid
Oh,
vacation.
yes.
Yes, yes, yes. You've earned it. Take it. You need rest, and recharging is good for work, for life, for balance. And it's perfectly acceptable to set boundaries for yourself when you notice something in the workday isn't making you feel good.
So, if you get a headache when you have 5 meetings in a day, set the boundary at 4. This will be your maximum. If you get anxious trying to respond to 200 emails on a Monday, try blocking or chunking it up rather than trying to complete it all at one time.
You must set in motion those new boundaries, those new habits, those new practices that will make your workday more productive and set your mind at ease.
Now comes the most important part of the process. Step 3.
You have to stick to the boundaries you set. Or you have to stick to the boundaries you have set. Be consistent. If you say you're not available on the weekends, don't be available on the weekends. If you say you're not available after 6, don't respond to the group text after 6.
When you respond to emails or agree and look to check on proposals outside of those boundaries, you're teaching people that the boundary isn't real and it's okay for them to violate it.
Consistency. Consistency is the key. That might mean restating the boundaries more than once. That might mean reminding yourself why you set the boundaries in the first place.
Setting boundaries is hard the first time, but for the most part, once you do it, it becomes easier and easier as you go along. Boundaries are contagious. Once you start to consistently implement them, others will too.
You might be an inspiration to those
Yes.
around you, and they will begin to set boundaries. They see how it's working for you, and so they might take that on as well. How contagious could that be, positive or negative?
It's so important to be that person who has the courage to go out and be the trendsetter because sometimes others around you need the courage themselves. So if they see you setting boundaries, then they can set boundaries as well. And together you can work stronger and be more efficient. We pray that this helps you go out and set boundaries and be able to take back some of that freedom that might be taken away from you because you don't have clear boundaries set. So, until next time,
Get connected
to go vertical. Bye bye.